Hi, back for another video. I'm going to just turn my volume up. There we go. Yeah, it was way down. And I wrote under my last video what we were going to discuss, and it just hit me last night while I was asleep. My brain, well, as I was waking up and before I went to sleep, I thought on this, and I've been thinking on it quite a bit. And on my other channel, 8th Day Dawning, I have this infinity symbol, right? Which is supposed to represent eternity. But the more I thought about it, the more I studied the Bible and what it was trying to indicate, I'm less inclined to believe that that's the truth. And the reason why we're going to say this and do the video this way is because of all the indications in the scriptures that indicates that we are in a sevenfold time loop. And you keep hearing that word reset, right? Is that the word? They want the reset. Well, the reset they want is a new time loop. That's what they want. And why that is so relevant, or should be, is because of that mighty angel in Revelation 10. Well, just look at the verse, which I do not have it pulled up. I did have it. I must have. There it is. Revelation 10. And what does the angel say? And this angel we identified as the birthright holder, she, daughter Israel, or daughter Zion. I think it's daughter Israel. And if we scroll down to verse 6, this is what this mighty angel says. And she swore by not him, she's swearing by her mother, who is the everlasting God, that Abraham went up in Genesis 21, I believe. If it's not 21, it's Genesis 18. But I'm pretty sure it's Genesis 21. And Abraham goes up and he plants a grove there. And it represents the covenant with the eternal or everlasting God, it says. Now, on the other channel, we identified the pillar as female. Every indication, sorry, my eye is starting to burn. I got something in it. Every indication that we get in our study is that the grove, the pillar, the tree that stood in the house in the forest of Lebanon, as your pillars that supported it, are identified as female. And so we identify the covenant with the everlasting God. Abraham went up and made a covenant with her. That's what he was doing. When he promises to cut away the foreskin and that he won't pursue a covenant with the harlot spirit that will allow him to build himself up as God. Now, the angel says this, and I swear by her that liveth forever and ever, who created heaven and the things that therein are, and the earth and the things that therein are, and the sea and the things which are therein, that there should be what? Time no longer. Well, if we pay attention, we're in time. And we get this in many different associations when we pay attention, that time is the great killer. It's death. Time is death, right? So the cycle of death is what they're trying to reset. I'm doing a very poor job. I apologize. And this is what we really ought to be looking at. And I drew a picture this morning, hoping I could put it as my new, my, what do they call it? My new little picture. But you see, time no more is when the cycle and I believe it's the 7th loop that the cycle will get broken on. And eternity is linear. It is not what we've been taught. And there's indications in the scriptures that that's true. And we're going to look at a couple of them right now. So God says to Nebuchadnezzar, we'll begin with Nebuchadnezzar, and that's found in Daniel chapter 4. Now, I read the verses, Daniel 4. Verses 16 we'll read first. We'll go up to get the context here just a little bit. Alright, well, I'll give you the context because I don't want the video to be that long. The context is that Nebuchadnezzar was bragging himself up as a great king and going, look what I made, and completely ignoring God in the whole process. He built an idol up and says, all will bow to that gold idol as Lord and God. Well, we know who that idol is. It's Baal, an image of Baal, man as Lord and God. And every consecutive kingdom builds upon this till we're in a final, real idolatrous, real beast system where man as God is worshipped, and that's Jesus. And it's considered an idolatrous idol. Baal, your husband, Lord and God. That's idolatry. And it says they have not discovered what brought the daughters of Israel into bondage. Well, what brought us into bondage was bowing to our husbands as Lord and God, which ends up being a beast system, yoking us under him, telling us what we can and can't do, and saying it's from God when it's really from himself. And we discussed that, okay? The burden of the Lord, in the little book sealed up at the end of days, which is the truth sealed up in this thick book here called the Holy Bible, that the truth is sealed up in there. And you do have to go in and find it. Nevertheless, this is what God says to Nebuchadnezzar, or decrees against Nebuchadnezzar, when he begins with this arrogant way. And you read Daniel 4 and you'll understand. So God says, he saw this dream. He says, I saw in the visions of my head upon my bed, and behold, a watcher, an unholy one, came down from heaven. Now, was this Daniel? Dreaming this in response? Tell me the vision of my dream that I have seen. Okay, so it says Belshazzar. Yeah, right. That was a name for Daniel, wasn't it? Then came in the magicians. Okay, so this is where the king is grieved about his dream, right? And he dreams of this great tree. And he wants them to tell him what it means, but there's only one that can tell him, and that's Belshazzar, which is another name for Daniel, of course. So, Belshazzar, master of the magicians, because I know that the spirit of the holy gods is in thee. Now, why is it pluralized? Holy gods in thee. And no secret troubleth thee. Tell me the visions of my dream that I have seen, and the interpretation thereof. Thus were the visions of mine head in my bed. I saw, and behold, a tree in the midst of the earth, and the height thereof was great. And the tree grew, and was strong, and the height thereof reached unto heaven, and the sight thereof to the ends of the earth. So here we're actually getting an allegory to the idol that begins to stand with this kingdom. The leaves thereof were fair, and the fruit thereof much. Okay, and then we'll keep going down until he tells him, Belshazzar tells him what it means. So this is where we'll begin, verse 15. Nevertheless, leave the stump of his roots in the earth, even with the band of iron and brass and the tender grass of the field, and let it be wet with the dew of heaven, and let his portion be with the beasts in the grass of the earth. So we actually see him being likened to a beast, all right? Because he had turned away from the true living God, and he was going, look what I have built up, me, all by myself, and leaving God, right out of the context. So let his heart be changed from man's, and let a beast's heart be given unto him. And let 7 times pass over him. 7 times. So we are getting 7 times here. Now we're going to scroll down to 32, verse 32 of Daniel 4. See if we can't pull it together a little bit. And they shall drive thee from men, and thy dwelling shall be with the beasts of the field. They shall make thee to eat grass as the oxen, and 7 times shall pass over thee, until thou know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men, and giveth it to whomever she pleaseth. They got he, because the men of Baal removed the she pronoun. And so this was her saying, I'll pass over you 7 times. Okay, so we get an example of God passing over 7 times this beast system. So we know that a day is as 1,000 years. And there is indication further on when we go that it is a 1,000-year cycle 7 times that God passes over us. And there's indication that this is how the reset goes, like this, right? I can't see my camera, so I don't know. But you see that, right? And then you got the angel saying there will be time no longer. So in Joshua chapter 6, what do we get? Verses 15 and 16. And it came to pass on the 7th day that they rose early about the dawning of the day, and compassed the city about the same manner 7 times. Only on that day they compassed the city 7 times. And it came to pass at the 7th time, when the priests blew the trumpet. We're bringing in the trumpet here, blowing of the trumpet. When the priests blew with the trumpets, Joshua said unto the people, shout, for the Lord hath given you the city. Now what happened? The walls fell, right? We were no longer lost. Get that? Lost in time. They want us to reset the loop again. That's what they want us to do. Always learning but never ever coming to the knowledge of the truth is what it says. This circle represents the womb of Sheol that we die in. You see? It's a cycle of time. So when they blow the trumpet, where do we go from there? Well, I went to the trumpet is the 7th angel showing truth. At that time, the mystery is revealed, right? So again, that takes us right back to Revelation 10. And what does the next verse say? After the angel says there will be time no longer. Verse 7, but in the days of the voice of the 7th angel, it says when she shall begin to sound, the mystery of God should be finished, as she had declared to her servants, the prophets. So we got the 7th right there, the 7th angel trumpeting. And she's trumpeting the truth. And if you go and you watch the series Lost, they show you all of this, even the character's name. There's one character in there with the last name Abaddon. Time is the great killer. Time is. And in Deuteronomy 32, God does something, because by 18, in verse 18, we understand that it definitely is she. She says, you forgot the God, the rock, the God, that writhed in pain to form you and to birth you, that is not a male. She says, you forgot about her. You forgot about me. And she says, there is no other God that I know of, none besides me. There's none that I can show you. There's none that I can tell you about. And this God, the only true living God that can give life and can deliver out of death, she says, I swear by my own body and soul, myself, that I live forever. What was she doing when she did that? What was she doing? Well, let's look at again the angel in Revelation 10 here. When the angel puts her hand up and swears by her that lives forever. Watch. We just read it. And swore by her. And the angel which I saw stand upon the sea and upon the earth. This is her taking her birthright back. She's stopping the cycle of time. All right? She's not letting it connect. It's coming out. They want to reset it in another cycle. That's what they want to do. That's what I truly believe they want to do. Lost indicates this. They're looking for the candidates. And they use that word candidates. They come up apparently with a number of 360 candidates. That will keep resetting that clock. They want it reset. They want you to keep resetting that clock. Resetting the clock. And yet in Joshua we see the walls coming down at the 7th trumpeting. We see the angel trumpeting, which is called the 7th trumpet. And she's swearing by herself. Well, she swore by herself in Deuteronomy 32. Now she's swearing by her mother, who was the one who swore by herself, her mother Israel. And she says, And she stood upon the sea and upon the earth, and lifted up her hand to heaven, and sware by her that liveth forever and ever, who created all things, we'll just say, in heaven and in earth and in the sea, and the things there are, that there should be time no longer. So this answers a question that I had about those 5 months, that they cannot die. Right? Where was that? Where was that found? 12? Let's look at 12 in a minute here. But this is also shown to us in the creation of Adam by Michelangelo. It shows what the men were doing. And if you notice Adam's posture in that, I get a kick out of it. He's pretty cocky. He's pretty arrogant looking the way, and he's touching supposedly his father's finger. Right? They think they're breaking eternity by putting in a time loop. Right? And what do they do and I'll go back to the series Lost. What do they do in that series Lost? Now, I can't remember all of it, but I do know that they were very interested in pregnant women or women that they could impregnate. And you know why I think? I think they were trying to study why she can give life. That's what I think they wanted these time loops for. And God says instead, I'll give you 7 time loops to turn back to me and to my truths. I'll give you that time. Because you're never going to understand me because I'm God. And I'm the only one that can give life. But they're trying to understand what it is about her that she can form clay and give life to it. They're trying to understand that. But here in that 5 months, right, we get that understanding that time has indeed been broken. So I'll verse in Revelation, 5 months. Because these are questions that we think on in our spirit. Yeah, it's Revelation 9, verse 5, I think. And it says, they were not given power to kill them, but only to torture them for 5 months. And the agony they suffered was like that of the sting of a scorpion when it strikes a man. During those days, men will seek death, but will not find it. They will long to die, but death will elude them. So you're looking at time again. You're looking at eternity. And in part, you're looking at judgment. Because what I'm linking it, and it's just a very vague thought right now on the outskirts here of all of this information, is that you're going to live by what you formed by your own spirit or soul. And these men have not formed a body, and they were permitted to be touched. And I just wonder, does it take the human body 5 months to kind of wither away into powder? You know, because they did not create a body of eternity. And that takes us back to the web of lies in Isaiah 59, which we've discussed on many other videos, and why it is said that way in this beast system that we're talking about. So I'm sorry that I'm not doing a very good job, but it says, and I'm sure it's 59, let me see. But again, we've looked at this. It says, none calleth for justice, not any pleadeth for the truth. We have nothing but lies. We have a foundation of lies. They trust in vanity, they speak lies, they conceive mischief, and they bring forth iniquity. You see, we're in the womb of Sheol. We have no truth. And only when that angel begins to sound is the mystery revealed, all right? That we are bowing to a religious lie and idol of man as Lord and God and Father, the Creator who can give life to all things, when that is an outright lie. They hatch cockatrices' eggs and weave the spider's web. He that eateth of their eggs dieth, and that which is crusheth breaketh out into a viper. Their webs, you see, their web of lies that they've weaved together around this world is part of it, part of imbuing power onto an object and giving it power to stand in a physical sense is kind of what you get there. But it says, their webs shall not become a garment, a body. You see? Neither shall they cover themselves with their works. Their works die, are works of iniquity, and the act of violence is in their hands. Their body can't hold together because they believe in the religious lie. And the scorpions have power to strike them as oft as they would, because they're not God's. They don't belong to God. They're not her children. They don't believe. But she gives them 7 loops, I believe. 7,000 years is the indication from these scriptures. But she says, I swear by myself. She's giving herself the power to live in time whenever she chooses. And she can come and go. And she's the only one that can do it because she's God. She's the one that created all things. And we know that God forms. We are also told God formed the creation through her words. That's right. And so they're powerful words. But that's just a touch on some of my understanding at this time. This is not, like I've got that infinity symbol. I think we've been lied to. We've been misled. We're trapped in time, and time is death. Time is the destroyer. There's a poem. Yeah. Let me see if I saved it here to my favorites. I'm pretty sure I did. But it speaks of time as the great destroyer. And it is. We're trapped in a loop. A time loop is what we're trapped in. And according to the scriptures, she lets them go 7 loops. That's what it sounds to me. Not saying I'm 100% right. Oh, where's the poem? Just a second here. What was it called? See, and it just took me right back. Go to the bottom. Of Time the Destroyer. That's the name of the poem. It may be a more modern one. It's Of Time the Destroyer by, I can't say the name, Bhartahari, 6th or 7th century AD. I don't know if it's somebody from India who wrote this, and yeah, we get a lot of the pagan gods in it, but it is speaking from and I ain't read the whole thing, speaking of time as the destroyer, right? And it's interesting that the angel in Revelation 10 does so indicate that that's exactly true. There will be time no longer. You see, we fell for the lie that time, or I did, that time, the symbol for eternity here, and I know many have seen it, you know, because if you keep following that loop, you just go on forever and ever, right? You just go on forever and ever in that loop, or even in just this loop, right? But God says, I'm not stagnant. I flow like a river. I don't become stagnant. And if you're in this cycle 7 times over, and they keep resetting it and resetting it, it becomes stagnant. And we certainly do die. And we also see that all the shows that's coming out now, like Wheel of Time, and how it spits you out over and over again. Well, I don't know whether that's true or not. But we're stuck in time is our problem. Lost, seems to indicate that. It does. It certainly does indicate that. And go look at the creation of Adam. It's father and son, indicating that they broke time. And they rejected the Holy One of Israel. Adam didn't want her in covenant. We've discussed all of this. And it definitely seems to be indicated in Scripture that absolutely this 7th angel trumpets and says there'll be time no longer. And it takes us back to the Old Testament where God passed over Nebuchadnezzar 7 times over because he became a beast. We're living in a beast system, a violent system that cannot hold together a body. And then that takes us to the 5 months that they will pray for death and cannot die. So it indicates that time does break at the sounding of the mystery, when the mystery gets revealed. And the mystery that gets revealed is that daughter Israel was the cornerstone rejected before the foundation of the world. And she is the Holy One standing upon this earth, and you rejected her government system, is all indications, which was from her God, her mother. And that's the generation from generation that we're going to look at in the next video that I'll post on the 21st. I actually didn't plan on posting this video, but I could not believe when the Spirit began to reveal to me, how, time, eternity is not what we think it is. We're trapped in time. Eternity is absolutely linear. Absolutely linear. It's not stagnant. And anyway, and it knows no end. We're stuck in a time loop. We are. 7 times. 7 times I'll pass over you. We're in a beast system. It's all there. All allegory is there. And it's absolutely fascinating when you are able to study and look deeper into it. Now, I'm sorry that that's so miserable of a very vague interpretation of it, and I'm sure those who are a lot smarter than me could get a lot more out of it. It was just nice to drop this little video, giving you a heads up on, I tried changing my symbol on my 8th day dawning to actually this, but I couldn't get it to crop right and all that stuff, so I left the symbol. Now I'm understanding that they broke, not time, they broke eternity, is what. And God allowed them. God's sitting outside of time watching. She says, I'll pass over you 7 times. I give you those chances to turn back to me. And then at the 7th trumpet, when the mystery is revealed, the walls fall, right? Which means we're no longer trapped in time, right? So anyway, hopefully the next video that gets posted, it's already made. It was made a long time, April 5th. I've been waiting for the 21st just because that's the day that April 5th, 2018 was said to hit on, was Nisan 21. So it's a clear 4 years for me if I post it on, I believe that's Thursday. And after that, the only video left that I intend to make is the one concerning the covenant. And like I said, I really haven't delved into that a lot. I do have come to the conclusion that the word disannul or disannul has become very important in understanding the whole context of the covenant. And so I'll be looking into that, very deep after the 21st. I'll have nothing else to look into, I don't think. I mean, there's always going to be something. But this is what my focus will be on that final video. So there we go. So I hope you're all blessed with an abundance of truth. I hope you all have a very nice day, lovely day. It is here. And I thank you for watching. So thanks.